Close your eyes and imagine a universe before time existed. The sky is completely dark, but tiny stars sparkle like diamonds scattered across a black velvet canvas. Some stars burn bright, some faint, each holding the potential to create worlds. Far away, massive clouds of gas and dust, glowing nebulae twirl slowly, forming new stars in bursts of brilliant light. We travel closer to our galaxy, the Milky Way, its spiral arms glowing softly in space. Dust and rocks float and collide, slowly forming planets that orbit newborn stars. Among these, Earth begins as a molten ball, glowing red-hot, spinning silently in the dark. Around it, particles swirl, colliding and sticking together. Fire, smoke, and cosmic light dance in a silent, endless ballet. Slowly, the first hints of water and crust begin to appear. This fragile world, still raw and violent, is ready to begin its incredible journey, the journey toward life. The young Earth is a violent, molten world, covered with oceans of glowing lava. Meteorites strike constantly, exploding in fiery showers and sending smoke and ash high into the thick red-orange atmosphere. Towering volcanoes erupt endlessly, spewing fire and molten rock across the planet's surface. Lightning dances across ash clouds, illuminating rivers of lava as the planet churns with unstoppable energy. Then comes a cosmic collision. A Mars-sized object crashes into Earth with unimaginable force. The impact throws debris into orbit, and slowly, piece by piece, these fragments come together to form the Moon. Steam rises from the molten surface as Earth begins to cool. Rivers of lava solidify into a rough, dark crust. Smoke curls into the sky, and for the first time, a fragile calm settles over this young, fiery world. The stage is now set for oceans to form, and for life to eventually begin its journey on this extraordinary planet. As the molten fury of young Earth begins to calm, a new force begins to shape the planet: water. Endless rains pour down from thick, storm-laden skies, hammering against the scorched surface, sending steam rising into the crimson clouds above. The ground, still scarred from fire and collisions, slowly collects water in deep basins, forming the very first oceans. These early seas are dark, vast, and mysterious, stretching endlessly across the fragile crust. Waves crash violently against jagged volcanic shores, hissing as they meet molten rock, while underwater vents spout clouds of superheated mineral-rich water glowing faintly in the darkness. Lightning splits the skies, striking the molten land and the forming seas, sending sparks of energy through the atmosphere. Each storm carries the raw power of creation, stirring the waters and reshaping the surface beneath. Rivers of rainwater carve new valleys, carving deep channels through the rugged landscape, while steam rises from the heated rocks like the breath of a living world. The first continents begin to emerge, jagged and raw, rising slowly from the waters. Tectonic plates drift and collide, forming mountain ranges that pierce the low-hanging clouds. The oceans swirl around these new land masses, pulling minerals and chemicals from the crust, creating a rich, life-bearing brew. Deep below the waves, chemical reactions occur unseen, tiny molecular dances that will one day give rise to life itself. The planet is a place of extremes. Violent storms clash with calm pools, fiery remnants of lava meet cold, rain-soaked valleys, and the sky glows with lightning and steam. The seas shimmer with potential, hiding secrets yet to be discovered. In this delicate balance of chaos and calm, Earth prepares for the next chapter, the dawn of the very first living organisms. The stage is set, the waters are ready, and life waits patiently beneath the waves. Within the dark, mysterious oceans of early Earth, life quietly begins its journey. Tiny, single-celled organisms drift through mineral-rich waters, invisible to the eye, but teeming with energy. Cyanobacteria form layered colonies, clinging to the ocean floor, harvesting sunlight to power the first spark of photosynthesis. From this subtle process, tiny bubbles of oxygen begin to rise, drifting slowly toward the surface, unseen yet monumental. These early organisms transform the very air and water. The oceans begin to change, shimmering with faint hints of life, while iron-rich rocks slowly oxidize, painting the land in rusty red hues. Above, the sky begins to lighten, shifting from smoky oranges and reds to pale blue as oxygen begins to accumulate. The planet breathes for the first time, setting in motion a quiet revolution that will eventually reshape every corner of Earth. Life spreads relentlessly through the seas. Microbial mats cover shallow waters, algae begin to tinge the oceans green, and energy pulses through the underwater world in waves of unseen activity. Lightning continues to crack the sky, triggering chemical reactions that add to the complexity of life's building blocks. In these hidden depths, life's blueprint is being written, molecule by molecule, in a slow, patient rhythm. The planet, though still young and fragile, begins to stabilize. The seas reflect the pale sunlight filtering through newly clearing skies, and the first glimpses of a living Earth emerge. Tiny, imperceptible yet unstoppable, life moves forward, preparing the world for complexity, diversity, and the explosion of creatures yet to come. The stage is set, and Earth is ready for the next chapter, the grand bloom of life across oceans and eventually land. As the oceans settle and oxygen fills the atmosphere, life begins to flourish like never before. The Cambrian seas erupt with a dazzling array of creatures, each more strange and beautiful than the last. Trilobites crawl across the ocean floor in endless columns, armored and precise. Tiny shimmering fish glide gracefully through the waters, their scales catching the faint sunlight filtering down. Coral reefs bloom like underwater gardens, their vibrant colors illuminating the dark seas. Above and below, currents swirl with energy, carrying nutrients and organisms in a constant flowing dance. In shallow waters, strange creatures with spiny appendages and soft gelatinous bodies explore their surroundings, probing for food, building the first complex ecosystems. Every corner of the ocean teems with life, moving, hunting, hiding, and surviving in a delicate balance. On land, the first plants begin to take root along riverbanks and rocky shores. Mosses and primitive ferns cling to wet surfaces, slowly spreading across barren landscapes. Giant insects rise into the skies, buzzing with mechanical precision, their wings catching beams of sunlight. Amphibians, emerging from the water, crawl onto soft mudflats and low-lying forests, testing the new world that awaits them. Rivers carve deep valleys through the earth, waterfalls tumble from rocky cliffs, and dense forests begin to grow. Life is everywhere, chaotic, beautiful, relentless. The earth hums with energy, a symphony of creation, as evolution begins to experiment in ways never seen before. Every plant, every animal, every tiny organism contributes to a complex network, laying the foundation for the giants of the future. This is a world alive with color, motion, and possibility. The oceans sparkle, forests sway, and the air vibrates with the energy of life itself. Earth has transformed from a quiet, oxygenated planet into a thriving, dynamic realm, ready for its next great chapter, the age of dinosaurs. As the oceans settle and oxygen fills the atmosphere, life begins to flourish like never before. The Cambrian seas erupt with a dazzling array of creatures, each more strange and beautiful than the last. Trilobites crawl across the ocean floor in endless columns, armored and precise. Tiny, shimmering fish glide gracefully through the waters, their scales catching the faint sunlight filtering down. Coral reefs bloom like underwater gardens, their vibrant colors illuminating the dark seas. Above and below, currents swirl with energy, carrying nutrients and organisms in a constant flowing dance. In shallow waters, strange creatures with spiny appendages and soft, gelatinous bodies explore their surroundings, probing for food, building the first complex ecosystems. Every corner of the ocean teems with life, moving, hunting, hiding, and surviving in delicate balance. Small mammals, once hidden in shadows, begin to explore the forests and plains. Agile, curious, and adaptable, they move quietly through the undergrowth, hunting insects, finding shelter, and surviving in a world reshaped by catastrophe.